Live from the Akrs Broadcast Center, inside of Memorial Stadium, it's the Nebraska Athletics AD Show with Troy Dannon.
Dowdell's the back. Dillon goes shotgun. Huskers line up quickly. Turn, snap. Hand it off to Dowdell. Leap toward the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Here we go. Outside set. Shot by Harper Murray. Kaboom. Wow.
Lots of arms wearing red today. 23-19.
Johnson, Ramir Johnson is the tailback. He goes in to a pass pattern, and Raiola is going to throw it to the end zone. It's caught. Is it a touchdown? Yes.
Got to get it in or we're done. It's in. Olivia Mount pulls her setter off. Only choice outside. Harper Murray for the match. She got it. They take down number 4 Louisville. 25-16, 25-17, and 25-20 on the road, no less. Your Huskers are 10-1 and going into the Big Ten Conference season.
Here is your host, Greg Sharpe, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hi, thank you. Welcome to our September show with Troy Dannon. It's been 1 month since we've talked, and Troy, there has been so much that has happened with Husker sports in that amount of time. A lot of home events, and we were talking before we went on the air tonight. You really tested your staff to be able to put on all the volleyball, soccer, and football games.
You know, it doesn't really seem like 4 games in 4 weeks would be a lot, but, you know, game planning does not start on Saturday morning. It starts on the Sunday after the previous Saturday game with getting everything ready for the video board and for everything else that goes along with it. And then the night games on top of it just make for a longer day. So really proud of the group here, the staff. I mean, obviously my first 4 experiences with a home game here at Memorial Stadium, the experience is spectacular. I think the in-game programming is out of this world. You know, I know the stadium's got a lot of liabilities. I think our fans have over time adjusted and adapted to those liabilities. So it operated smoother than I expected. You know, we'll probably talk about concessions later, but we had 4 games with cashless concessions, and, you know, obviously there was a little consternation ahead of that. But last year, I think we averaged $375,000 a game in concessions. This year, we're pushing $900,000. And so, you know, the transactions are moving faster. So my email box, you know, tends to fill up if the sun comes up in the east, right? But really, the response I've gotten from everybody, both internally and externally, is we had a pretty good month. Love to have won 4, but, you know, 3-1, still best position we've been in for a while in the non-conference, and now we head to West Lafayette.
On the road for the first time for the Huskers on Saturday. This is our monthly athletic director show. If you want to be a part of the program, our text line is open for you at 402-413-2400. Last month, we really highlighted the cashless concessions and new security protocols to get into the stadium. How about that? How has that gone?
You know, it was smooth. The first game, obviously, there's always growing pains no matter what if you came back with the same system, because we always have a lot of different people working, and once we pushed out some perimeters, entry into the stadium was much faster. I think from some of the stuff I saw that we collected at the gates, I think the security system's doing its job. But we had a good operational month, and then you put on top of it, you know, 10-1 in volleyball, and I think only a couple of those were on the road. So a lot of home matches with 8,700 people. You know, it is a taxing way to start the year, but, you know. At the end of the day, while it's a big business, at the end of the day, everybody does it because they're trying to put our kids and our coaches in a great position to win. So I think a lot of people feel good about how we got off start of the month and how the year started off for the Huskers.
Tremendous exposure for Husker football with the different networks picking up games. We were on NBC for a game. We've been on Fox, Big Ten Network for a game. You've kind of touched a lot of the TV partners just in the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, and, you know, the Friday night thing, I know a lot of people don't like Friday nights, and we've talked a little bit about that. But, you know, the one thing about a Friday night game that we knew going in, we were going to be on Big Boy Fox and have a national audience. I think it's the largest watched game other than since the World Series, Game 1 last year. So a lot of eyes focused on the stadium, a lot of eyes focused on what was going on the field. And that's why the game presentation is as important it is, because, you know, showing people that this is a pretty neat place and showing people what the crowd does and how the crowd has a chance and often has impacted our ability to win games. You know, are recruits watching that. And, there are other people that we're going to want to have part of our program. So that exposure, never underestimate how important it is.
4.2 million were the viewership numbers for the game last week with Illinois. So the fans around here have known about night games and how special they are. We only had one last year, so Coach Rule only got to enjoy one night game. How about the Dannon family? Have they enjoyed these night football games?
Oh, they were blown away, just really in game one, right, with the experience with UTEP. But in game two, when, when they saw the balloons go up and then the drone show, they were just kind of aghast. And those kids, 10 and 11, but they've got to see some pretty neat things at some pretty neat places. And they couldn't wait to get back and can't wait for the next one. Now they expect every game to be at night, and they expect a drone show every night. So, that's par for the course. But Matt told me when I got here, he said the game experience is great, but the game experience at night here is something to behold. And I saw it firsthand, live and in person. Now, I think we've also did a really good job of that opening game with UTEP. And, we know Rutgers is going to be mid-afternoon, but closed probably mostly when it's starting to get a little darker in twilight. And depending on how those last two games go, we may not have seen our last night game. But, the fans, the influence of the fans in the game, I thought, in the Colorado game in particular, really made a difference. And I expected the Northern Iowa game to be much more sedate. And in opposition, it was just as loud and just as intense. So it's really neat to see what our fans do, how much they interject themselves in the game. And I know how much it means to the guys in the locker room when they do that.
By the way, I bumped into their athletic director who used to work here. So like you guys traded roles for that game.
We had some fun conversations ahead of time, but I reminded her, and in this job, once you leave. And while it might be my alma mater and her alma mater, I don't think anybody's loyalties were in question that day.
With the new TV partners, people need to kind of get used to having some Friday night games occasionally. That takes cooperation on the university part, right? Is Troy, you got to manage classes that are going on or not going on campus that day. There's a lot of people that have to get involved in that.
Yeah, there are. And, the university canceled in-person classes on Friday. And I sent a letter yesterday to the commissioner and with the blessing of the president and the chancellor, formally requesting not to host Friday games outside the Thanksgiving every other year game with Iowa, just because of the size of the stadium and the locale. I don't think we want to be canceling in-person classes. I'm sure the students didn't mind, but at the end of the day, that's the more we can avoid that, I think the better off everybody will be. So if it happens again, it happens again. I don't like seeing other athletic directors in the league saying, by golly, we will not do that, and laying their foot down. I'm not sure any institution should have the unilateral ability to do that. But if we do, I raised my hand with the commissioner and said, Nebraska should be in that same position with 90,000 fans and the proximity we have to campus.
We're kind of landlocked here. A lot of people have traveled around the league at all. They know some stadiums are on the edge of campus where it's not as big a deal to park cars around their stadium and disrupt the life on a campus. Let's briefly touch on Husker volleyball. Up to number 2 again after an amazing week. Troy, they're playing some high-caliber volleyball right now.
Yeah, those weren't just sweeps over 2 top 5 teams. They were pummelings, and it's been fun to watch the team progress. I don't think they've never lost their spirit. And when I say their spirit, they're having a blast. And even SMU was what SMU was, right? But they have continued to have a blast when they're playing. And that's so important. And then, I think the last 2 matches in, my amateur eye with volleyball, but my goodness, we're serving well. Everybody's into the game, playing well. We're getting great play at every position, not 1 or 2. So, I've gotten to see some very spectacular volleyball the last couple of weeks. And you get in the Big Ten, we're going to play 5 or 6 rated teams in the Big Ten as well. So there is no let up. Then to look this week, I think the team that was number 2 that we've beaten is now number 3, right? The team that we just beat in Louisville's right there at number 5. So, we're not knocking teams down very far. It tells you that they were rated well, and I think Creighton being up to 6 or so validates what that match looked like here. So we've got a heck of a resume built up. I think we're number 1 in the country in the RPI, which at the end of the season, you want to make sure you're in the top 4 in the RPI and make sure you're one of those 1 seeds.
What do you make of the exposure now for that sport around the country. ABC had the match on the other day. We've had other networks that have picked up women's college volleyball, which 10 years ago people would have scoffed at you if you said, hey, why don't you put a volleyball match on a Sunday afternoon? Now they're doing it, and I think they're getting pretty good numbers out of it.
You know, I think the match at Louisville was the highest rated on any of the ABC networks. 650,000 people watched it. You know, the one thing about volleyball, there's always been, because there's no clock, and you don't know if it's going to go from 3 to 5, right there, the networks have always been a little scared with how do you program television for volleyball. But you know, the pace of the sport, you know, the visual nature of the sport, how good it is. It's forcing its way on, if you will, and it's finding its way into some pretty prime spots, and it will continue. And the neat thing about it is for us at Nebraska, you know, we're going to be the centerpiece of a lot of that, because this is, regardless of what happened in the national championship game a year ago or where anybody's rated this year, this is the name brand for college volleyball.
Yeah. Text question for you. Nick wants to know, are there any plans to upgrade the video board in North Stadium? The sound and screen seem a little outdated, and in one game it even went out. Go Big Red.
Yeah, I think the obviously part of the stadium rebuild, the South is going to get its own board, and what I would term is going to be a massive, massive board in the South. The North, we're looking right now at whether we can just take the existing infrastructure and put a new screen over the top of it for next season. I think the North board has outlived its useful life, and I'd hoped to put a new board into the South and just take our chances with the North board, but we won't be able to do the South board till the stadium's construction is underway. So we got to get something done in the North, and I think the entire stadium needs a sound system, and I'm sure the focus. Again, we put some new amps in this year. I think the sound, from what I understand, is better than it was a year ago. But we're still doing some sound on the field. I think we'll end up with a new sound system built within the scoreboard in the South in time. But certainly a different video board looks to be in the cards maybe as early as next year if we can get the components in time.
Okay. Wi-Fi, I know, is always a big topic with your fans, and I know there were some upgrades made over the summer months to do that. What reaction are you getting on that?
Well, my understanding is there's more Wi-Fi inside the bowl last year, and the Wi-Fi is much stronger in the concourses this year to support the cashless concession system. The plan, as I understand it right now, Verizon is looking at making a strong 8-figure investment in the cellular service inside the stadium for next year. Wi-Fi, you know, we looked at, could we do anything to the Wi-Fi system shy of the stadium construction? And as I understand it, anything we put in, any repeaters we put in anywhere in the stadium are going to come down when the stadium is rebuilt anyway. So I think the choice is going to be, hopefully we can get the cellular system up and improved a little bit. Wi-Fi, it will be state-of-the-art once the new stadium is done in the 27-28 timeline. In the middle of that, you know, I think part of what happened from last year to this year was also changing and getting on the university system, you know, which we needed to do, but along with that does come a different level of security and access when we're on the university system. So hopefully it's something we're going to be able to address in the construction, and in the next year, maybe cellular getting better. I probably have had, of anything, I've had more complaints about the Wi-Fi access. And I experience it myself. I'm on the sideline. I want to check scores. I want to check Twitter and see what people are saying about the game. And so I know exactly what people are talking about. While I apologize, it's not as good as everybody wants. You know, I'm also going to make sure our focus is what's going on live and in person inside the stadium.
We're all kind of addicted to these.
Absolutely.
These
Yep.
Another question on the text line for you, Troy. If the stadium reseat happens, will there be zone seating options offered, like family-friendly standing sections, that type of thing?
Probably too early to tell. I know from a proportional standpoint, about a quarter to 30% of the seats in the stadium come with no giving requirement. I would anticipate that number is going to change. We're not going to take away, you know, the access to seats without donations. So that'll be a key part of it. So I think the percentages will probably be fairly similar, as whether there's a true standing room only. At least in the designs I've seen, there's not a true standing room only, but you know, there will be a continuous concourse all the way around. So there will be places I think you'll be able to motate to and stand and watch the game for periods of time.
You've seen some of the remakes that have happened. I don't know about Washington, but I know Oklahoma did some deck seating where they flattened out an area. So that's kind of, and I think Wisconsin maybe did something similar to that too. So you're seeing some of that around the country. Yeah,
Washington did that as well. And then what happens, those decks get rented out and there's private groups on those decks, right? So I don't know how much, but the ability to walk around the stadium and get out of your seat and stretch out, but still being able to watch the game, I think is really, really important. So having some place where people can do that, at least for periods of time, is going to be important.
This is one I'm sure you've heard about as well. This is Sue on our text line. She said, Troy, for football night games, would it please be possible to put the drone show on at least one video screen? Those of us in the East Stadium have a hard time seeing the drones.
Yeah, so I asked about that after the first game. I'd heard from a few folks. The drones take off from the football practice fields, and there is a proximity they have to be to the radio frequency. If you notice, we didn't have the drones for the Northern Iowa game. What happened was that, as it turned out, during the game we realized the referee communication devices were on the same frequency as the drone, and we couldn't figure out how to make it work. And there's a safety component with those drones too. We've got to make sure we keep control of them. So it's really about access to the frequency and why they are where they are. The video board, we've talked a little bit about how to use the video board to show the drones, but they're so integrated into the video board into the actual presentation and the light show. Yeah. It's been a little bit difficult, spur of the moment to figure that part out. I have asked whether the drones can maybe go on center in north, so maybe east side can get a better look at them. Yeah. North is still in a tough position there. Eventually they'll have that video board and they'll probably be able to see them better. But right now the location's limited because of the communication and where they take off from.
Yeah. I know you've heard that question.
I have heard that question.
Last thing, and we're going to get to a break, and we've got Dennis LeBlanc, Deputy Athletic Director and Student Services, going to come up in the next segment. 4 home football games in the books. Congratulations on the weather. Could we have had much? I mean, it was pretty warm for UTEP, but you're going to get that in August. But my goodness, beautiful nights.
No, and I tried my best to take personal credit for it. But 4 great weather events, and as complicated as these events are, you didn't want to add weather complications to it. So yeah, we had perfect, ideal conditions, and it was a little bit warm, and I think that helped us at the concession stand. It helps. Winning 3 of those 4 games, it helps my email the next day because the things that are idiosyncrasies of the stadium tend to get a little bit more ignored or put in the back seat, right, when you have success, when the weather's good, when the show is good, and people walk out feeling good.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to meet Bud Crawford when he was here?
I did, and I've been in contact with his manager. I'd love to get him in the stadium at some point in time. I'd love to have him fight in the stadium. Ooh. The challenge with doing that is the boxer's schedule is maybe not as predictable as ours, and basically, though, I've extended the offer. Hey, if we can ever get him in, we're going to find a way. If there's a fight that he's ever involved in that could make sense to fight here at home for him, I think I'd only seen 1 or 2 90,000 seat boxing matches, outdoor boxing matches in American history, and I think we can beat that. So, we would love to do it. I'm not saying that's onus is on Bud or anything, but if we can make the schedules work and it fights within, or it works within his fight schedule moving forward, man, that'd be a great event.
His talk to the team was fantastic.
He was
fantastic.
He's unbelievable. You understand why pound for pound he's the toughest man in the world. When you hear. You can have all the physical skills, but when you got that mental game with you, he has got it all.
Just a joy to watch fight. Yep. We're going to give you the next segment off. You okay with that?
I'll take it. Dennis has been around here a long, long time, so maybe he wants 2 segments because he's probably got some history he can rattle off as well.
Good stuff. We'll be back. Dennis LeBlanc. Hey, folks, tune in to the Team Jack Radiothon presented by the Home Agency. Coming up on September 26th, so in 2 days, your donation will support research to find treatments for children battling brain cancer. Visit teamjackfoundation.org to donate. We're back with Dennis next.
Hi, I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and co-founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program.
And I'm Des Moines Adams, Husker black shirt and CEO of Teammates Mentoring.
We are recruiting teammates, mentors, and need caring adults to be in the lives of our students.
Meeting with a student once a week at the school can make a positive impact in their life and have a ripple effect in our communities.
Please join our team.
Go to teammates.org today.
Hey Husker fans, get game ready at Alumni Hall, your ultimate Nebraska Cornhusker shopping experience. Upgrade your tailgate gear, shop officially licensed Nebraska clothing for the family, or load up on hats, gifts, and accessories. Spend $150 and you'll receive a $10 reward on your next purchase with Alumni Hall's Hall Pass rewards. Nebraska students, faculty, and military receive 10% off when shopping in store. Come shop at Alumni Hall, located in downtown and in the South Point Pavilion in Lincoln, or shop alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Husker fans shop.
Last season was a banner year for the Huskers, winning 5 Big Ten titles. Nebraska also finished in the top 25 in the Directors' Cup standings. Beardmore Subaru congratulates Husker Athletics and Nebraska student athletes for all their achievements and stands behind you again this season. Go Big Red! Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester, the same trusted SUV it's always been, only more so. Love begins with trust.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Just like D1 athletes, farmers view each growing season as a new opportunity. Aurora Cooperative is committed to elevating the success of our members every season. Rooted in our core mission, we provide top-notch products, services, and expertise. Our strong work ethic mirrors that of the Huskers, driving success. Choose Aurora Cooperative, your partner in elevating agriculture. Go Big Red!
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol-Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
For almost 50 years, Sid Dillon Buick GMC Cadillac in Fremont has been more than just a dealership. We're a family dedicated to serving yours. Shop Nebraska's #1 volume Buick GMC dealer for the new car, truck, or SUV to fit your needs. We're also your GMC Business Elite dealer for commercial vehicles. Visit us at SidDillonBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Welcome back to our Athletic Director Show for the month of September, brought to you by Woodhouse. Woodhouse has been a trusted auto partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Delighted to be joined this segment by Dennis LeBlanc, Deputy Athletic Director for Student Services, oversees all things academics at Nebraska. Great to see you. We're into week 4, week 5 of school?
Yeah, week 5.
Goes quick.
It sure does.
Goes quick. Let's talk about you had to move. You had to move furniture. You had to move office.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you moved furniture, but you moved offices from over in the West Stadium to the brand new building. How has that been?
It's a great move, Greg, for a lot of reasons. One, you walk right out the front door. You're on campus, and when we meet with recruits, that's a big selling point. You know that you're a business major. You're 3 minutes away. You want to go into engineering. You're 5 minutes away, and then the actual facility, lots of square feet. 34 study rooms. The students wanted that. We have natural light. I mean, it's the coolest thing ever. As I walked over here, you have a calculus tutoring session going on and a Spanish tutoring session. And, you know, I was in there the other night later and walked around to the different rooms and, you know, groups of students studying, single people. Yeah, so it's really worked out well.
That has to make your heart feel good to see those groups kind of bond like that. And I know you were deeply involved, so was Keith Zimmer with Life Skills, and to make that building much more than just about a football locker room and a weight room. Yeah. It's really for the entire department.
Yeah. I mean, for example, we really wanted to try to drive some of our students, you know, that are studying to be doctors or whatever. The other night, Drew Christo, who's on our baseball team, was in there. He's pre-med major with better than a 3.9 GPA, and he's back in the corner, you know. And I think in the old facility, it wouldn't have worked as well for him. You know, so and then we're right down the hallway from the training table. And what we do, the most important thing is you build your academic center next to the food. I'd like to think that they're coming to see me, but I know they want to eat. And then they're around, you know. So it's been great.
Compliance says the same thing. They like being close to the food and the training table as well. How about, I mean, this only works if you have the backing of every coach on staff. Talk about how that is going. You had some longtime head coaches here at Nebraska. You have some ones that are fairly new to the role.
Yeah, so our head coaches are amazing as far as who they recruit and then how they support while they're here. We're not always going to have the top students, and but the fun part about it is bringing in somebody that maybe looks at themselves as only being an athlete, and they're going to be a professional athlete someday, and then in the meantime they get to their degree. It doesn't necessarily just impact them, but their children, and that's one of the things I've been able to get to see now, whether it's Will Shields and Siobhan Shields, whether it's Michael Booker and his son, who now is here at Nebraska, and there's multiple individuals like that. But yeah, all of our coaches. And I can tell you, in doing this for a long time and working with 8 head football coaches over my career here, there's been nobody better than Coach Rule as far as the support we get. If you can imagine right now, we have 118 guys on our team that have better than a 3.0 cumulative GPA. And that's just unheard of. When I tell individuals that nationally, they're jealous. And that's really starts with Coach Rule and the support he provides us.
How much does he utilize you and your staff on recruiting visits? Are you a big part of the tour, the car wash that they go through?
Yeah, I mean, no more, no less than any of the other areas.
Right.
but there's, they're always going to meet with nutrition in the strength area and the medical area. But yeah, we're involved in that. And it, parents, obviously, they are interested in it, but for them to be able to see and hear the results, and then also to see and hear the communication with the coaches, it just isn't like that everywhere.
Speaking of communication, football has a little bit of an advantage because you're in the same building.
Yeah.
So you can just walk down the hall. Now, the other coaches, I'm sure, stop by all the time to see you, but having football right there with you and all those athletes on that team, that's got to be a help.
Yeah, it works out well. But all of our coaches will come and eat there in the Osborne complex, so that's worked out great. Yeah.
Fantastic. We had an August graduation. Not a lot of student athletes went through that, but you did have some athletes who had long finished up their eligibility here that picked up degrees. I love the Niles Paul story, the Cam Taylor Britt. I love those stories, and I know you do as well.
Yeah, it's really neat, to see that after they've been out. Most of the time they're a little nervous about coming back because of the technology piece, and we're able to work them through that. Niles came back. He took, in the coursework he needed. He got a 4.0. He was a bright guy when he was here. He just didn't finish. And so we're always trying to, I'm reaching out to him every now and then. But they have to be in the right mood for it, And with Cam Taylor Britt, it was, I got to know his mother while he was here, and so kind of prod her along sometimes, and she was always for it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to see that happen.
There are quite a few guys, Dennis, that are playing football on last week Friday, mostly Saturdays, that already have their diploma.
Oh, yeah. We'll have, and I'll say when we go to a postseason game, I believe we'll have 30 guys that will have finished their degrees. And Ben Scott, for example, will finish his MBA in December. So, yeah, just a great group of young men.
I'm glad to hear that the transition went well. Your staff probably got a lot of smiles on their face, have probably bigger office space, and then they're close to the food.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. We moved right in the middle of the Big Ten baseball tournament, so I was driving back and forth.
Yep.
Yeah, and so we got moved in there in May. So this summer was great because we had many athletes around, but not like a normal school year. So it was a great trial run for us to be able to have the bridge students in, and all the football team was around, and to be able to test drive it.
You hear the term the bridge program all the time. What is that?
Yeah. So, mainly football, but some of our sports will bring students in the summer to start. But it's a great jump start for especially our fall sports to be able to get in training and be able to take a class. But, all of our new guys, except one maybe, that got here a little bit later, they all were able to take a class and, get a jump start. We get to know them. They know their way around. It's worked out well.
Very successful. Well, continued success to you and your staff. I know you have just a wonderful staff, and some of them have been with you a long, long time that have been over there, and it's just great. And it's an amazing facility. A lot of effort went into it. We thank our donors for stepping up, because that was a big part of it.
Yeah, when they were here and we had the opening of it, that was one of the things to let them know that, this impacts the students. But gosh, thank you for, I pinch myself every day I get to come to work and think you get to walk into a facility like this. So it's greatly appreciated.
Dennis,
only at Nebraska.
Only at Nebraska. Good to see you, as always.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
Dennis LeBlanc with us here on our Athletic Director Show for the month of September. Dorothy Lynch, Homestyle Light and Lean Dressing, endless flavorabilities. Troy Dannon will rejoin me next. Keep those texts coming in, 402-413-2400. We're back with Troy next.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
Attention, Husker Nation. Are you ready to power up your game? Sap Brothers bleeds Husker Red, and our high-quality off-road red diesel is the fuel that powers your equipment. As official sponsors of the Huskers, we're here with a touchdown offer with the Sap Brothers Go Big Red Fuel Giveaway. Contract your upcoming fuel needs by February 1st and enter to win 1,000 free gallons of our off-road red diesel. Keep your engines roaring and your equipment running strong. With this winning opportunity, Sap Brothers fuels Husker Nation. Visit sapbros.net/fuel giveaway for more info.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
This fall, be ready for every tailgate, touchdown, and adventure in a perfect car, truck, or SUV from Sid Dillon Chevrolet. Visit us in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo and shop Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer group. We're also your Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, offering medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards. Visit us at siddillonchevy.com. Together, let's drive.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough.
Now get 1.9% financing on a brand new 2024 F-150 or Super Duty, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Looking for the ultimate sports watching experience? Head to Smash Park in La Vista, home of Husker Hangouts, Omaha's official watch parties. Your go-to spot for epic game day deals, delicious bites, and unbeatable fun. Catch every moment on our massive screens. Challenge friends to pickleball, axe throwing, and other games. Smash Park is where the action happens, whether you're cheering on the Huskers or just enjoying the atmosphere. Smash Park. Visit us today and turn your game day into a game night. Smash Park. Play, drink, eat.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir. Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe back with you. It's our monthly athletic director show brought to you by Woodhouse. Troy Dannon rejoins me after hearing from Dennis LeBlanc. You have to like to hear from the guy that oversees the academics that the coaches are doing their job of making sure their athletes are getting their work done in the classroom.
I think even like in Matt's case, when you come in, you don't know, right? You don't know what kind of support you get, and it didn't take him long, and he reminded me of this early on, it didn't take him long to understand what Dennis and Keith are doing in their operation, and then it's easy to put your full weight and support behind and trust in them because they've done it for decades, and I rely on Dennis. I've got my own group of senior leaders that report to me because he's got some institutional knowledge that's so valuable to us. He understands what happened and how it happened and why it happened. And so I rely on him probably as much as the student athletes do, but he does a great job.
He has certainly settled into the new Osborne complex. What about, when can the folks start to come see that? Have you talked about public tours going on over there?
Well, I mean, yes and no. There's a public lobby that ultimately is where most of the tours of the facilities will start. Okay. Right now, it was in the kind of the northwest corner of the North Stadium, and we'll eventually relocate there. Obviously, open during the football season's kind of, interfered with that a little bit. There's really no intention of opening the building up for public tours. If you think about it, it's the lower level is all the rehab and the training area for our athletes. There are various stages of dress when they're in there. The upper level is offices and meeting rooms for football, and those aren't typical spaces that are open and available. The academic center and the cafeteria, the training table, those are also spaces really that are more or less private for the athletes. One from a security standpoint, but two, just it's their place to go. It's where they own the space. So I know a lot of people love to get in and see it. We've tried to do some things like the drone fly through to show people what it looks like. But those spaces that are really exclusively open to students, I don't think there's an intention. Maybe on an occasional basis, it may open for something at some point in time, but not on a regular basis for sure.
Very good. Troy, I got to say, I got taken back by an email that came out of your sports information office on Monday that head basketball coach Fred Hoiberg is going to have a heart surgery to replace a pacemaker. Should concern? How are we feeling on this?
No, I mean, there's always concern. I'm concerned about, everybody every day. But, Fred, my wife actually sold pacemakers and defibrillators, in a past life. And this is just a regular routine. When the battery runs on the pacemaker, it has to be replaced. And it's part of the normal cycle. So they'll go in and pop the other one out, reattach the wires and pop the new one in. So, it's kind of, if there's such a thing as a matter-of-fact procedure, this is about as matter-of-fact when it comes to a pacemaker. But, Fred said he's going to have her done on Friday, take a little rest over the weekend, and be back at it on Monday. And so, barring any complications, it's part of the life you lead when you have that little conductor inside your body to help your heart.
So this was not a case of he's been feeling bad or not up to snuff at all?
No, I know this is just a regular planned occurrence, and I don't know how many years between it takes, but there's a period that battery's only good for so long, and I don't know, but letting your gas tank run not low good. On fuel or your battery run out, probably not the right thing to do when you're talking about a pacemaker.
We finally got basketball schedules that came out from the league. How about it? It took forever, it seemed like, to get those.
Yeah, and it always does, and it always, in a way, it's kind of infuriating because, you're trying to sell tickets. People are trying to book hotel rooms when they travel into games, and it's a challenge. But, the schedules are reliant upon television networks deciding when they want games and what games they want in certain places. And so it It takes an inordinate amount of time. But it is what it is. We've kind of grown used to it. I would tell you it's one of my biggest frustrations in this business is, in order for us to sell tickets and promote and market, here we are, practice is starting. It's nearly October 1st, and we just now know who and when we're playing.
Crazy. They will have an event for the public down by PBA next Friday night before the Rutgers football game, which is homecoming weekend on the campus. Hopefully your weather holds up for one more Friday night so they can be outside and have some fun.
I hope so, and it's something neat to do, something different, and I think everybody's always looking for that. How do you showcase? How do you get engaged? How do you meet the fans and show off your program a little bit? And this is a really neat concept that's been created. Haymarket's such an awesome area. I mean, you talk about underestimated. I didn't know of it or know much about it when I got here, and I was like, holy cow, this is a great area.
Really cool. Both basketball teams expected to be good, both coming off of NCAA appearances.
Yeah, they are, and that going in to see practices and some of the preseason work. My goodness, I mean, athletic, big. Fred's got some huge guys. One Braxton Mia, who I was with at Washington last year. Just some mountain of a man and a great kid. And that's the neat thing about it is I think we have a great skill level, but I think we have really good kids that fit the program. And Amy and Fred, if they're recruiting in their own likeness, we're going to have great kids.
Good stuff. Troy Dannon with us for one more segment. If you want to fire off a text, 402-413-2400. We're back to wrap up this hour next.
Tune in to the 12th annual Team Jack Radiothon presented by the Home Agency on September 26 to raise funds for childhood brain cancer research. Childhood brain cancer is a devastating disease affecting 5,000 children each year. Current treatments are over 40 years old and leave children with lifelong deficits. Team Jack is working to change this. Become a champion for a cure for just $20 a month. Every dollar counts towards discovering new treatments and ultimately saving young lives. Visit TeamJackFoundation.org to donate. Your contribution matters more than ever.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you can use that money towards going to see your favorite team in the playoffs. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can go see your favorite team in the playoffs. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but we cannot guarantee that your favorite team will make the playoffs or even finish with a winning record. They could easily lose more than half their games and finish in the cellar because they stink badly and haven't made the playoffs in years. Savings? Very possible. Playoffs? Highly doubtful. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates not available in all states. We cannot be held liable for your favorite team's terrible and frankly embarrassing performances now or ever.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
For almost 50 years, Sid Dillon, Buick GMC Cadillac in Fremont has been more than just a dealership. We're a family dedicated to serving yours. Shop Nebraska's #1 volume Buick GMC dealer for the new car, truck, or SUV to fit your needs. We're also your GMC Business Elite dealer for commercial vehicles. Visit us at SidDillonBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs Solutions for every field. Final few minutes with Troy Dannon. This is our Athletic Director Show for the month of September, brought to you by Woodhouse. Had a text that came in during the break wanting to know any idea when we might have dates for next year's football schedule.
I guess February, maybe March.
Whoa. That seems late, too.
It does, but again, it's television related. And so when you consider the season's January 20th is wrapping up, you know, I think that's
People
probably...
want to plan their weddings, Troy.
I get it. I'd like to know, too, because, you know, even volleyball, we didn't get the volleyball schedule until really the beginning of the summer. And so, you know, we're trying to book planes. We're trying to book flights. And there's a lot of logistics goes with moving our teams around. So the sooner we can get those schedules, the better. Also, a question, will we see more balloons in 2024? Homecoming. Okay. I think that's the plan. I'd love to do them at homecoming every year and then pick another game out. You know, weather permitting, right? And we're not into something that's going to prohibit it. I'd like to see him for Rutgers. One thing that Coach Rural did change up from last year to this year is he moved sidelines, went from the east to the west, wanted to get out of the sun. I think for the UTEP game, that was a big advantage for Nebraska to be in the shade for the second half of that game. But they now have kind of got these little tents up. Has that caused an issue with some fans who sit down low? It has. You know, the bottom 5 or 6 rows in the stadium are already sold as restricted view, knowing that just the proximity, you know, and the player standing in front of them. And so this just, I think, adds to it a little bit. So it's something, I think, as we make plans for how does the stadium renovate and remodel, something hopefully we can accommodate. And hopefully, you know, we're not going to need those again. We may need the heated benches for the rest of the season, but hopefully it's an isolated early season problem that you know. And you know, I've talked to a few folks about it. You know, my priority is going to be the cooler, the more sun we can keep off those guys, the better from a competitive standpoint. And like I said, we may have to make the more rows obstructed view as we go forward. But, you know, I think everybody understands when they purchase those tickets. Now, if you buy them in the secondary market, you get what you get. But when they're sold from our box office, they are marked knowing that was going to be the case. Well, and even if we'd left the visitors there, they could put those same things up. Exactly. So it's not just a Husker deal to do that. Yeah. In an ideal world, you lower the field down or raise the stadium up a little bit. You know, 100 years ago, we didn't accommodate for things like this. But hopefully there's something we can do to make it as clean and visible as possible. Andy in Phoenix says, Troy, I'm moving back to the area from Phoenix. Do you have any recommendations on a snowblower? Have you purchased your snowblower for the upcoming winter? Andy, I can handle that. Our good friends at Akrs can take care of you there. You ready for winter again? I'm excited for winter again. Gosh. I really am now. I'll when we do our January show, I'll complain about it. But, you know, when you spent, you know, the better part of your life having winter, 4 seasons, nothing beats them. Kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Plus, we got you out of that Gulf region with all those hurricanes. That could not have been fun. Well, and you know, the one thing I will say is, you know, September, now we had a pretty warm September, but there's a transition that exists here in September in weather that really doesn't exist in the South. And, you know, we tried to play all-night games until late October just because of the heat and humidity. Right. Good to see you. Continued success. Let's go get a win on the road at Purdue. Appreciate it. Let's get to 4-1 and see what happens from there. Very good. Yep. Thanks, Troy. Thanks. Troy Dannon with his monthly athletic director. She'll be back in late October, to talk more about updated things going on around Husker athletics. We have another hour of Sports Nightly coming up. We'll hear from both coordinators. Marcus Satterfield, Tony White met with the media today. We'll recap what they had to say today. And Kicking Back with the Cooks podcast is out. We'll play a snippet of that coming up in hour 2. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
IT issues wreaking havoc on your day?
It's time to hire the experts. It's time to hire Hamilton. When it comes to your business, you don't have time to worry about network security, data backup, and protection, or support when devices slow down or stop working. At Hamilton, we ensure that your technology is up to speed and works as hard as you do. Don't let IT issues slow you down. You deserve better. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. The Husker football team fell to Illinois this past Friday in overtime. This was the Huskers' first ranked matchup inside of Memorial Stadium since 2013. In overtime, the Black Shirts gave up a touchdown in 2 plays to ultimately lose the game. Nebraska's defensive coordinator Tony White took to the podium today and was asked about his defense's performance in overtime.
You know, it's funny, we the very first play of the game was the same defensive call, kind of similar run in there, and it goes for 2 yards or something like that. So we just have a mental breakdown, and we got the ball viced inside. We don't have the ball viced outside, and it goes in there. So that should have been a 2 or 3 yard gain. It wasn't. So again, you go back and look at it and take an ownership of it. You know, maybe I didn't show it to him enough, that exact run against that exact defense and stuff, but just a mental bust.
In the MLB, the Mets and the Braves start a crucial series tonight as the Mets have a 2-game advantage over the Braves for one of the final wildcard spots in the postseason. The Braves are starting former Husker Spencer Strellenbach tonight as they look to inch closer into the postseason with only 1 week left in the season. It is currently 0-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Other games in the MLB include Orioles versus Yankees, Royals at Nationals, White Sox hosting the Angels, and the Padres visiting the Dodgers. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
One wide out to the near side. Emmett's the back. Snap back to Raiola. Looking, holding, throws over the middle, down the middle. Pass caught. That's going to be a Nebraska touchdown. Isaiah Nair finds the end zone on a pass over the middle. 13-3 Big Red. Tight formation. Turn. Toss it off to a little end around by Barney. He's at the 10-5. Touchdown Nebraska. Ja'Cory Barney slips in there, taking the pitch on the end around from 10 yards out. Nebraska stretches the lead to 20-3.
Left side swing. Rubin block back covered. Again, Rubin left pin cross court. There's Olivia Malk with a beautiful in-system dig. Right side. Merritt Payson. Kaboom! That's volleyball. Pass by Delaney. Here come the Huskers to the side. Jackson gets you do it again. Kaboom! Waking babies up there already in downtown Louisville. 16-14 Nebraska.
Now, here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are back, Hour 2, Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network. Thanks again to Troy Dannon for spending an hour with us, his monthly athletic director show. We're going to talk some Husker football this hour. Both coordinators met with the media today. We'll hear from both Tony White and Marcus Satterfield. And we got him kicking back with the Cooks podcast. The monthly one was recorded. It's out. We'll play you a snippet of that coming up later on in the hour. Man, there was a lot in that last hour.
Yeah.
He was dropping little nuggets all over the place.
Yeah, he was. I think big takeaways, obviously, that they wrote a letter to the commissioner. Hey, we'd prefer not to play Big Ten games. And I like how, or on Friday nights, I liked how he phrased it like, we don't want to get in the business of putting our foot down. We are not doing that, but we'd prefer, more so we'd prefer this not to happen because we just don't have the capacity to be able to do that without canceling classes. And if you want to talk about being a conference that prides himself on academics and then we have to move things around academically to be able to have a football game on a Friday night, it's just not ideal for us at home. So hopefully that's something that, changes because I know that's kind of provides some challenges around here. And then Bud Crawford, let's do it. Come on, make it happen. I tried to interview him the other night on the sideline.
He was too locked in.
He was very locked in, number one. And number two, so many people were coming up to him, and he was so kind and gracious to be able to talk to so many different people. But you told me to ask him, when's his next fight? I should have asked him, is your next fight going to be here soon? But that would be awesome. That'd be so cool to see. And then, for our friends in the chat and listeners of the show, big fans of balloons around here, that's coming back again.
Next week, Rutgers homecoming game, which he says he wants to kind of make that a tradition and then pick maybe one other game during the year to do it. a big game. We're going to have a couple of them next year because both USC and Michigan come, and Iowa. So if all three come to Memorial Stadium next year, we don't know the dates of those, but all three will be here next year. Bud did fight in Lincoln. He fought a PBA.
Yeah.
But that'd be a different animal to try to put it in the stadium. But I don't know. I don't think we'd sell the volleyball out. I don't think we'd sell Bud out, but I think we'd put a good crowd out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, don't doubt Husker Nation or Nebraska folks, because I would think that they could make it happen.
Well, we're gonna have to go quick. He's on the end. He's on the downside of his career. He's undefeated, obviously, but he probably doesn't have a lot of time left. He's 35, I think. Look that up for me, Duke, would you? He's like mid-30s, Bud is, but so that's getting up there for boxers. But that'd be fun.
So a little nugget here. I'll break some news.
36.
36. Yeah. Wow, it's unbelievable.
Doesn't look it.
I know. Like, you think about athletes like him and then Jordan Larson, LeBron James. It's just incredible, you know, at the age that they're able to still be at such a high peak. But a little nugget here from the Cornhusker conversation. Elliott Brown is training to get into MMA.
No kidding.
Yes, he's currently working out with some wrestlers a couple days a week, but he's got a boxing background. He's jiu-jitsu, has some of that. That's probably his best, and so that's a goal of his, and he is working towards that in addition to the things that he's working with in the football program. And so I joked with him. I was like, so you're saying your goal is to be a champion, you know, that's what he's working towards. And then I was like, so next time you can come back and lead the team out of the tunnel. He goes, right, that's what I was saying when Bud Crawford did that. I want to be that. I want to come back as a champion. So how about that?
Unbelievable.
Like, just the little nuggets you learn when you sit down with these student athletes. It's incredible how much, you know, you just get so locked in, and we talk about them as football athletes, but that's what's so great about this Cornhusker conversation is we can explore their interests, because all of them have things that they are passionate about outside of football, and it is just fascinating to learn about. But I learned that today. How about that?
I would have thought he was headed down the coaching path.
Well, more player development, so that's become a passion of his. You know, he's very, very involved in the community, and so he actually was an intern with Gus Felder in the winter. And I think he's leaning towards moving towards that path and continuing to work in player development. And hopefully we'll continue to be able to balance both. But he's got a plan. It is unbelievable to hear. I mean, he's got it mapped out. But I thought that's really cool.
Wow.
I mean, it's not just like, hey, I want to be it. He's working towards that. So
good for him. He's going to be successful in whatever he chooses.
That's what Garrett McGuire said when he was in here in the summer. He could do whatever he wanted. And so when I asked him, and he was like, well, actually, my dream right now is to be in MMA. I was like, of all, you know, I just would not have thought that. But that, like you said, he could do whatever he wants and be successful at it.
Impressive young guy. Can't wait to hear that conversation caught him pregame on Saturday. One of the other little things from Troy's hour was how much more concessions they have moved to the first 4 home football games. Nearly triple what they've done in the past. I know that there was some consternation about the cashless concession stands, but God, how can you argue with that?
I know. I was about to say, you cannot deny the fact that it's been able to move things along and you know, make things maybe move a little bit quicker. And so, yeah, I mean, it's, and I don't know, maybe some of it too is just having the 4 games at home and the night games and all of that. But I mean, I think there's no doubt you can credit some of that, a lot of it to being able to move things along and be able to have a good flow about the concessions, and they were ready for it. And, you know, as he gave a lot of kudos, but a lot of times when you make a transition like that, you can have some hiccups, but sounds like it's gone so smoothly. Everybody was prepared for it. They had a plan and was able to execute it. So kudos to the team and that it's been able to move so smoothly.
We did have a text that wanted to know about, can they get some more flow down near gate 11? Troy says, we're aware of some bottleneck entrances. We didn't talk about this on the air. We talked about it off the air, but he goes, we know we have bottleneck parts around the stadium. A lot of it is angled toward the Haymarket, where people come walking over in droves, and they all kind of hit the same entrances when they come in. He goes, that's going to be part of the stadium redesign. He also kind of mentioned that the plan is still in place to kind of have the stadium have a concourse that goes completely around the stadium, which would be really helpful. That way you can enter, even if your seats aren't at a certain gate, you could enter somewhere else and then walk the concourse to get to your seats. That, I think, would alleviate some traffic issues.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, being able to, but I thought the security stuff is awesome.
Been great.
I mean, you just walk right through there, and I think it's been a great addition too. But yeah, I think if you could move some things around to where you're not just limited, where you can enter in this gate, then I think that would also help too. Because there's certain areas of the stadium that's going to have more flow than others.
Like over here, it's busy, but it's not like they're backed up to the parking lot from here. And this is a pretty big area kind of on the east side where our studio is.
And where the Legacy Walk is, which has been so great to see how many people come to greet the team. It's been every single week has just been a great turnout. And Coach Rolls mentioned that, the players have mentioned that, just even in passing, just even getting off the bus to see them being greeted by that amount of fans. I know that's been a lot to the group as well, being able to do that.
Yeah. Sam from Omaha says, random question, you guys eat during the game, get concessions at all? They do have a press meal. Sam, Jessica usually doesn't go get it because she heads right down to the field, but I usually go grab something on that before the game, and then they've got our good friend Valentino's after the game with some pizzas afterwards. And
Victory Vows. We talked about Victory Vows last week on the podcast.
For the three games I did, yeah, we had Victory Vows. Now, didn't work out so well.
I don't ever get Victory Vows either. I don't get the press bills. I have to usually bring my own.
And they don't bring dessert pizza. For afterwards, they don't bring desserts.
I utilized. Anthony gave us a gift card, and I know Searles used it with his kiddos on game day this past week, and I used it on Sunday for volleyball game day.
Good.
So, hey, I got some pasta this time. So
was it good?
It was fantastic. So I have never had their pasta before. It was really good.
Yeah, it is good stuff. Now, for the guys in the control room here, home games, they've got a sweetheart deal with our good friends at Chick-fil-A. They bring them sandwiches during the game, so they keep the guys that are in here working hard, well-fed, and keep their energy
And
levels
then
up.
Camden said that they're going and trying to talk the guys into giving them hot dogs at the end of the game as well. So they get some Fairberry hot dogs too.
Yeah, usually they're passing them out. I've gone by some elevator places where they're going, free hot dog, because the game's over. They know they're not going to sell anymore, and they've got 50 hot dogs in their tin.
So I'm the only one that's getting a little bit. So I need to figure out something.
You got to find a way to get something.
Somebody needs to hook me up with
the
the
Derviner
sponsor.
Slinger. Grab that thing, grab a dog out of that deal.
He asked me to do it, not the last game, but the game before. But you were about to come down to me about something. I'm like, I'm sorry.
I got to talk.
I can't. Otherwise, I'd be a regular of it.
Got to talk. All right, 402-413-2400. That's the text line. If you want to give us a holler on that when we come back. Both coordinators met with the media today. I think you could say that Tony White was a little steamed still from the game on Friday with Illinois. Not happy with the execution, the tackling, just not up to what he says were our standards. We'll play you some of the clips from him. And also Marcus Satterfield met with the media today. And later in the hour, they recorded it a couple of days ago, the latest edition of Kicking Back with the Cooks. It's been posted. We'll play you some of that with John Cook talking to his daughter, Lauren Cook West, of the HRN later on in the hour as well. Back with more Sports Nightly next.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pre-game routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Last season was a banner year for the Huskers, winning 5 Big Ten titles. Nebraska also finished in the top 25 in the Directors' Cup standings. Beardmore Subaru congratulates Husker Athletics and Nebraska student athletes for all their achievements and stands behind you again this season. Go Big Red! Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester. The same trusted SUV it's always been, only more so. Love begins with trust.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Need parts fast? O'Reilly Auto Parts has fast. Need them now? We've got now. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. We're O'Reilly Fast. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Live reports of polar bear on the loose. Man, is it cold enough for a polar bear in here?
Yes, we use SOS. Come on in.
SOS to the rescue! Nebraska defensive lineman Nat Shrubbeck here. People know me as the polar bear, and when I want to stay cool, I call SOS. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Mention the polar bear and get a free 10-year labor warranty on New York equipment. The best warranty you have.
Call 402-391-2336.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game. Thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Woodhouse Woodhouse, they have been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Tuesday night. Troy Dannon show last hour. If you missed it, go back. We'll be able to find that on Huskers.com. We covered a lot of ground.
I also posted it on our podcast platforms already, so if you want to listen to it, go back and listen. You can listen to it there, or just hit up the YouTube. We also archive the live stream, so you can listen in a lot of different ways, but Beautiful. A lot of good stuff. So go back and listen if you missed it.
Sure was. Mike on our text line says, is the press concessions area where DB gets his $30 sandwiches?
No, that'd be Jimmy John's that I had to go get in the midst of the craziness of the Colorado game. So downtown in the Haymarket. Well, I guess it's not really Haymarket. Jimmy John's isn't. They
used to have a location down there. Is it closed?
Yeah, it's like on what, P Street, O Street? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was separate.
That was for post game. He saved the sandwich all the way till the end of the day.
Yes.
Is that healthy?
I don't know. I think he ate it on the way home, and then he ate some later, and so. But he told me that he finished it.
If that had mayo on it, there's no way that would have been good.
It didn't. It was plain and dry. He likes his sandwiches: meat, cheese, bread.
No. What?
Greg,
that sounds disgusting.
When I tell you, he sent me what he wanted, right? And so I double checked that. I was like, you want like no lettuce, nothing? So then I'm like, okay, let me order this, whatever. And she goes, yeah, that'd be $29. And I said, excuse me? I literally said, excuse me? She's like, yeah, $29. And then she handed it to me, and it was like this massive, and it was heavy. It's
like a party tray.
I wouldn't be surprised if it weighed like 5 pounds, and I was having to carry that thing around from my car. Well, I had to park a ways away because, again, it was crazy, and then had to carry it to the car from Jimmy John's, then from my car to the studio, and then, yeah, I was like, Venmo me now.
Yeah. Well, because Husker game day goes on before you and I have to take the air. He's Ben's responsibility Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Ben can get him to the stadium.
Yes. Ben can get him to the stadium. Ben can get him a $30 breakfast sandwich.
Oh, my gosh. It's hilarious. All right. Both coordinators met with the media today. Time for us to give you a practice report.
It's time for the Nebraska football practice report.
Getting out of boot camp and getting to football is probably exciting for them, but also relief because I know a lot of these guys, the guys that came back, they came back because they want to get to the season.
Both coordinators, we're going to start with Marcus Satterfield. Talked to the media today. First time we've heard from them since the Illinois game on Friday night. And I think, we're kind of wondering about the running game for Nebraska football. They've not really had a big breakout game. Last year, the Huskers were second in the conference in rushing to football. Now, we're throwing it way better than last year, and that's a big part of it. But here's Marcus Satterfield talking about how he feels about the run game right now.
It's always been our DNA. Like, we have to run the ball to get yards and to move the football, but we have to run the ball because the way we want to play and the way we want to win games is we want to win in the fourth quarter. Like, we want to give body blows basically for 4 quarters and try to make our opponent quit. And the style of runs and the amount of runs that we were getting, I've got to get more of them. And we got to be, create different angles, especially versus defenses like Illinois and the team we're getting ready to play, because they're always going to have extra hats in the box. But I was proud of Dante. I thought he was running well the other night, making some plays. Again, our challenge to our guys is we have to get better at making people miss, especially they got extra hats in the box. We got to block the ones we can and then make the other guy miss. So that's a huge emphasis this week.
You like to hear that because they were obviously having a lot of success throwing the football, but understanding that, yeah, even though that was the matchup that we liked and we were having success, we've got to be able to utilize a run game and to play where we want to rely on the defense and just the complementary football that we hear them talk about all the time, that you got to be able to run the football. So we'll see how that works this week, especially with the new tackle. But, hey, I thought Gunnar Gatula did well, and you got some great blocking tight ends, some great big bodies you can run out there to help in that.
Perfect segue. Next cut is, how did Sat feel like Gunnar Gatula did in coming in for the injured Turner Corcoran?
Thought he did well. I mean, that's a big spot to get put in. There wasn't really any times where we were thinking, oh crap, Gunner's out there. We just called the ball plays that we were going to call, if he wasn't out there, and he did well.
I mean, to be thrown in that situation.
Hot situation.
I mean, I thought especially now maybe in I think, was it Satterfield or Rule that said maybe in overtime it got away a little bit, but for the most part, when he was thrown in, it was early. It was after the first touchdown. It was
did it happen on a PAT?
It was Turner went down right after. Yeah, they kicked the extra point, and then after that it was all Gunner Gatula. So it was early, and so and then I think the next touchdown play, they ran a play that went to his side, and he was. I think I told you this last night, just to see the way that everybody celebrated him on the sideline. I know that he did his job, and so yeah, I think great experience to get in there and against a team like Illinois, get thrown in there to the fire. He'll only get better, especially now. It's up to you.
Tim.
It's your job. So and then they've got some pieces they can utilize that can help him out, I think, as well.
Redshirt freshman, if he establishes himself, think about how excited we will be for the next 3 years that he's the left tackle.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yep.
All right, we'll leave you with this. First road game for the Huskers Saturday. First time that the crowd will be a factor for our offense. Obviously, when we play Memorial Stadium, our crowd's pretty quiet when we're on offense, so our guys can hear each other. How about the helmet communication now this week on the road?
I think it'll be great. I think it'll be, just like, again, Coach made us do it spring practice day one, and we've been doing it every day for so long. It's just so natural to us. So barring any type of internet or whatever it runs on, issues that we can't control, I don't see any issues.
Hey, you come out and you quiet them, it won't be a problem.
Exactly right.
Like, hey, you do what you're supposed to do, which we hear this. If the offense is out there first, they go score. If the defense is out there first, they get a stop. And then you keep the pedal to the metal, you won't have to worry about any of that.
This is a nice venue for football, but I would not call it overly intimidating.
Yeah, except the train choo-choo loud whistle.
I like trains.
Well, that blaring of the whatever it is, siren.
He toots his horn. You're
yeah,
right.
it's kind of a lot, but hopefully, again, we won't be hearing much of that.
Right, exactly. All right, that's Coach Sat. Let's go to Coach White. There was some fire with him today. We'll start with the challenge of getting these guys to bounce back after, I know it was, to the defense anyway, a disappointing Friday night.
Well, Coach challenged them first, number one, and then number two, you could tell by the amount of guys who were around the building at last night and all that stuff that they weren't happy with it. So they went out there and handled business, and it was really just seeing how they're taking ownership of it. Like, just, hey, let me see how you guys want to handle this. So they went out there and competed, and it was good to watch them run around.
Yeah, that was one thing. Another thing that I talked about with Elliott today was just how they handled the loss, and it's felt different than maybe in the past where we're like, oh, here we go again. But I think this little fire under them, and I think the coaching staff said, all right, leaders, how are you going to handle this? And I think they've really had a wake-up call and have really challenged each other and are holding each other accountable this week. And they believe they're a better football team than what they showed on Friday night. And I think that's why there's so much disappointment, but also, hey, we did not play well and we were right there. So I think you're probably seeing and I got to post the sideline slice this week. Tommy Armstrong stepped in because Searles has his annual hunting trip. But we were talking today, we think this is going to be a defense that comes out with their hair on fire on Saturday.
I would think so, too. How many times have we heard this staff, Matt Rule, this staff say, we want to be the more physical team every week? And they openly admit they were not Friday night against Illinois. Here's Tony White.
That's why they went out there today and wanted to compete. That was the thing. And again, I know there's a lot to it, but I put it on myself because you're calling the game in the first half and you're telling them, hey, you guys ain't gonna run the ball, and they're not running the ball. They're not running the ball. It was really the third downs that kept the flipping the field and kept them on there and all the plays and stuff after that first drive touchdown. And then you change it and say, hey, let me go after the quarterback a little bit more, and all those seams open up, and now you're like, okay, now you're kind of playing chess with the guy and stuff like that. So, half of that is on me, and then half of it is making sure that, again, we put those guys in those positions to go make plays, and that we got to give them the confidence to go out there and play, man. They're not going to always be 100%, but the prideful thing about that is guys play so damn hard and so damn physical that they make up for those errors. And just didn't feel like that chip on the shoulder, that edge was there like that. So.
Yeah, and that's a fascinating point because it felt that way. It felt like when things were not doing the things that they expect to do and the standard that they expect, that it was not. They were not as fiery and as chippy as they normally are, and I think that's probably going to be the challenge this week. Is hey. You got to bring that intensity yourself, and when things aren't going well, you got to flush that last drive and bring that fire. And you saw some guys trying to get it going, but it just didn't seem to be as intense. Think about that first drive against Colorado when the defense came out and how intense they were.
Fire coming out of their helmets.
It seemed to be lacking a little bit on the defensive side of the ball, I felt like. So hopefully they get that back, because that's a big key is them playing with their hair on fire and playing fast. And that's such a big key to this defense being successful.
You and I talked last night about tackling, and we talked about it after Northern Iowa, that there were leaky yards, not getting guys to the ground. A 3-yard gain turned into a 6-yard gain, which allowed Northern Iowa to get first downs and have that 10-minute drive. Kind of continued against Illinois. Tony White was asked about what are you working on right now as far as tackling?
Same deal. Again, you see Coach says, tracking their hip, dominant contact. That showed up consistently, and it's guys just not cutting loose. They have a guy lined up, and they don't quite trust it, so then they start trying to cut a guy off, and then the guy cuts back on you and gains an extra 4, 5, 6 yards. So just all things that you got to go back and say, are we working out enough? Are we emphasizing enough? And are we demanding it enough? And so, we started yesterday, and with the emphasis on trying to fix those things.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see how it comes to fruition. But I think where I don't panic as much is that you've got guys, so many veteran guys that have played a lot of football that have in the past been great at tackling, that are out there on the field that maybe have not tackled as well. So that they can tackle. That there are guys that can get guys to the ground. There's a lot of players on defense that have played a lot of football that have not had issues in the tackling front of things. And so, they know how to do it. They just got to go. Deshaun Singleton said it the other day, we got to be more disciplined. That's the thing. Like, ultimately, bottom line, we know what we're supposed to do. We're capable of doing it. We just didn't do it. So you just, hey, get it done. Here's another opportunity. I think they're going to be ready to get back out on the football field on Saturday, though.
It's been a long week already, and it's just Tuesday and travel day on Friday for the first road game. But I'm with you. I think we will see a spirited group flying to the football Saturday when they take on the Purdue Boilermakers. All right, need to take a break. When we come back, the latest Kicking Back with the Cooks podcast. Well, it's out. Going to hear from John and Lauren, at least a little bit of what they put together for this month's edition. We'll have that next.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Rule here, thanking you for your incredible support of Nebraska football. We're working every day to bring championship football back to Nebraska. Just as important is your contribution to 1890 Nebraska, the official NIL collective of Husker Athletics. Every contribution, no matter how small, makes a big impact. Your support helps us recruit and retain top talent, bringing a winning program that can compete at the highest level. Visit 1890nebraska.com or text NEBNIL to 801-801 now.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Tune in to the 12th annual Team Jack Radiothon presented by the Home Agency on September 26 to raise funds for childhood brain cancer research. Childhood brain cancer is a devastating disease affecting 5,000 children each year. Current treatments are over 40 years old and leave children with lifelong deficits. Team Jack is working to change this. Become a champion for a cure for just $20 a month. Every dollar counts towards discovering new treatments and ultimately saving young lives. Visit teamjackfoundation.org to donate. Your contribution matters more than ever.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Live reports of polar bear on the loose. Man, is it cold enough for a polar bear in here?
Yes, we use SOS. Come on in.
SOS to the rescue! Nebraska defensive lineman Nash Hubbard here. People know me as the polar bear, and when I want to stay cool, I call SOS. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Mention the polar bear and get a free 10-year labor warranty on New York equipment. The best warranty you can.
Call 402-391-2336.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Well, the Cooks, John Cook and Lauren Cook-West, were able to sit down and record this month's episode of Kicking Back with the Cooks, so we thought we'd play a portion of it for you here tonight on Sports Nightly.
We're talking about preseason right now. What did you hope to get out of it? Did you get out of it everything that you expected or that you wanted to? And then did you end up winning more matches than you expected? And you guys are playing, you didn't start off at a high level, but now you're playing at a really high level. How do you sustain that through, Big Ten play and then into postseason play?
Yeah, I don't know, one day at a time and 1 point at a time, and get back to training, and we'd have themes each week. How are we going to get better? And it's really hard. That's the challenge of going through a Big Ten season, is how can you play great every week and continue to improve? And so that, yeah, there's no simple answer for that one. It's what keeps me up at night and thinking all day. How are we going to get better tomorrow?
So what's one thing you took away or learned from preseason?
When we're dialed in, we can play at a really high level. How do we get there more often? I think our players we kind of got into a lineup, and I think that's helped out a little bit, so we have some consistency. But I think we know what we need to do, but I think at times we've done all the skills really well, and we played really well as a team. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, is I feel like we can go with a couple different lineups. We can mix up some lineups and still play at a really high level. And we've got some players that are itching to play, and we've got to continue to find opportunities and let them compete to be on the court.
That's a big point of emphasis on social media is, why Taylor Landfair isn't seeing more playing time, why she hasn't been given more opportunities. So will we see more of her in the Big Ten?
Well, I think both her and Layla, we've shown we played at a really high level when they're in there. And so they've just got to wait for their opportunity to get in. And when you just beat 3 top 15 teams 3-0, there's not a lot of opportunity. But as we go into Big Ten, there's going to be opportunity. And I just want to make sure we keep those guys ready to roll. And, everybody in our team has played. We're trying to make sure we can maybe protect Skylar for a redshirt year. And so everybody else is playing. So it's, but we need them all. And that was the thing I told him after the Louisville match yesterday, that, the thing, great, we had a nice win, huge crowd. We handled all that really well. But to me, what was most rewarding was watching them play with each other, for each other. And they did a great job of that. Didn't matter who was out there. They're really supporting each other. And, I don't know, you've been on teams, Lauren, you just feel it. It's just a feeling you have that they're really, really playing for each other. And that was what was most rewarding for me yesterday.
Whenever you say with each other, for each other, I think of when I got married, you gave a speech, and at the end of the speech, you ended it by saying with each other, for each other.
I did?
Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, no.
Oh,
I just remember you guys trying to get me to dance. That was I still have PTSD from that.
People loved it. It's your soft side shining through.
Yeah.
Skylar Pierce, you mentioned her. Is she redshirting? Is that for sure?
Well, you don't really redshirt somebody. At the end of the year, if they haven't played at all, then you submit it for a redshirt year. And so we're trying to protect that, because if you just play one play, your redshirt's over. So it's not like football where you can go and play in 4 football games and still redshirt. Volleyball, it's one play. Just token point. Hey, get in there and finish this game off. That's the whole year. And so she is, one of the things that we talked to him about, you really don't redshirt players that you don't think can be really good, because you're going to have them for an extra year. So for Skylar, we think she has a chance to be really good, but she needs time to develop and mature. She's still a puppy, as we say, in the coaching world, but that's somebody that we think has a huge upside. She does some really good thing, and so the idea will be, can we go through the season and not play her, and then she's got 4 more years, and it'd be fun to watch her, what she can do.
So in preseason, we're seeing this new side of you where you're getting up, you're celebrating, you're fist pumping. It looks like you're having the time of your life when you guys are winning and doing well. And you've talked about this new attitude, and we had Kelly on post game yesterday, and she was talking about it as well, how the coaching staff is just trying not to get on players as much, and they think, or you guys think, because you're not on them on every play, it's helping them play freer and with less pressure. So talk about that and what that looks like and how you guys try to implement that, in practice and in matches.
Lauren, I'm always fired up, so I don't know what the big deal is or what's changed.
You used to be Russ Rose, just sitting on the bench, occasionally slamming your clipboard down. Now you're like Jalen. You're up, you're fist pumping, you're jumping up and down, celebrating.
I was always doing that. I asked the players, I said, or the captains, I said, you guys want me to get up there and patrol the sidelines like a lot of these head coaches do? And they go, no. Sit down. So,
but they're okay with you celebrating,
I guess. But no, they're fun to watch, and they're doing great things. And we had to, we started off the year feeling pressure, and so the more we can do as a coaching staff to relieve pressure and let them just enjoy the game, take the game back, and own the game, and I mean that's why they play. It's the game. It's competing with each other, and the more we can support that and encourage that, I think it'll allow our team to play better.
Do you think, do things like starting a TikTok with some of the players and really relating to them on their level and, having something in common like that, do you think that helps as well?
Well, you'd have to ask them, but they seem to be really enjoying it, and they're blown away by how many followers or people that look at them, or whatever you call it, likes, or what, I don't know what it is, views. They're like blown away, and so they keep wanting to do these. I'm like, we're not doing a TikTok every day, so let's just get over that right now. But I'll do a couple with you, and but they're having fun with it. But now that I know you can make money on it, I'm getting more fired up about it.
They're really creative, because some of them are really funny, especially the "Give Me the Money" one.
Yeah, see, that to me, that was like, this makes no sense. Of course, when you're making it, you don't know how it's going to come out, because they change the music, the words, what you say is not necessarily what's in the TikTok video. So I don't know how they do all that. They're like master movie editors or something with this TikTok thing, because they just say, "Hey, coach, will you just do this right here?" And okay, I can do that. And then of course, it completely changes when it comes out on the TikTok.
So do you have to learn dances or things in advance? Do they like walk you through it step by step, teach you things, or do you just do it? They tell you what to do on the fly?
No, we just get there and we rehearse it and then we go. We've done everyone's been one take except for one of them. We had to do 2 takes.
Which one did you have to do 2 takes on?
It was the show me, or give me the money, or show me the money, whatever it was. Because I didn't dance or whatever, cheer loud enough, or clap, I was like, what are we doing? Because you don't know what the whole picture, the whole thing is. They're just telling you, like, oh, just cheer, clap. Well, okay, what am I cheering for? I don't know. So anyway, we had to do 2 takes on that.
Oh, that's hilarious. It is funny. I'm on TikTok. I follow, I watch. And by the way, they did just post a video updating on what happened to the black ice. So I'll give you an update on that on the other side of this break. But also, for your knowledge, the full episode of Kicking Back with the Cooks is out now on our podcast platforms and our YouTube channel as well. So you can check out the full conversation between Lauren and Coach Cook now. And we're going to take a break. And when I come back, I'll tell you what I learned on Coach Cook's TikTok.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics,
the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils and a deep pride of our roots, we are born to raise at Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. You're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Okay, so if you missed it, Coach Cook had a black eye. You saw it on the broadcast against Louisville. If you're watching our YouTube channel, you could see it in his conversation with Lauren. She was asking about it. He said there's going to be a TikTok coming out on it. I just checked the TikTok and they made this kind of story up and had some fun with it. And then at the end, he said, I'll just tell you this, it ain't easy being a cowboy and a coach. So assuming maybe it had something to do with his roping or cowboy adventures, but that's all that he gave. So he didn't exactly say how that had happened, but that's all that they give. So that's all I got for you. Maybe we'll find out the true story coming up eventually. All right, that's going to do it for us here on Sports Nightly. Coming up tomorrow, we got a big show for you, Husker football show with Matt Rule, the head coach, going to be here in studio joining Greg Sharpe. So we'll have that for you, and the Blitz and lots of other fun stuff as well. So thanks for listening and watching on our YouTube stream. Thanks to Camden and Duke for helping us out here, and we'll see you and talk to you tomorrow night right here on Sports Nightly. Have a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's time again for some Nebraska farm facts. For Nebraska soybean farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices. And they have significant sustainability goals by 2025. 10% more energy efficiency, 10% less land, and 25% less soil erosion. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Still using that old, outdated office phone system? You need better. At Hamilton, we offer solutions for the modern office. Whether you have an office full of staff or your employees work remotely and are on the go, seamless call handling is important. Elevate your communication and connect seamlessly with clients and staff with Hamilton Business Phone Systems.